Welcome to the Curious Platypus. I'm Michael Edward, and today's piece is titled Enslaved. There's all this talk at the moment about ChatGPT and how it's going to change everything. And for all I know, it very well could. But if I was a betting man, I'd put my money on the fact that it won't be as earth-shattering as people are claiming. Truth be told, I'm not really that interested in this new piece of technology one way or the other. What I am interested in, however, is how this new AI thingamabob seems to be prompted in an eerily similar way to us. First, some context about what ChatGPT does. And be forewarned, I'm no expert. But basically, the deal is you type a prompt, i.e. write an essay about baseball, into what looks like a search bar, and this thing will spit out an essay about baseball generated from the panoply of text that exists on that reliable source called the internet. And from all reports, the prompt can be as arbitrary or sophisticated as you want. For example, you could prompt it to write the 51st law of Robert Greene's book, The 50 Laws of Power, in the style of Shakespeare's King Lear, and in a matter of seconds, it will pump out the ye-old law. Which is certainly impressive. So much so that this may be the moment in history where we begin to bow down to our AI overlords. And if that's the case, then let me be the first to warmly welcome our new masters. However, I don't think that's the case. In fact, the way we prompt ChatGPT leaves me with this uncanny feeling that we already have masters. See, while ChatGPT is no doubt incredible, it still relies on human input. It doesn't come up with its own ideas. We have to tell it what to write. We have to prompt it to create things. We have to direct its actions so it will do our bidding. In other words, we function as the creative force that endows this thing with ideas. Because the consensus is, at least at this point, it cannot think for itself. It doesn't know why it is creating essays about baseball. It is not aware that we are prompting it by way of its search bar. And it is not privy to the fact that we are sitting on its shoulder whispering ideas into its ear. But my question, and my concern, is how do we know we're not in the exact same position as ChatGPT? I mean, we don't know where our ideas come from. They just spontaneously spring into existence out of nowhere. 1 minute you're planning your day, and the next it occurs to you that a squirrel's tail looks like a feather duster. 1 minute you're deciding what to make for dinner, and the next you're wondering if the plural of platypus is platypi or platypuses. See, the seemingly random way fully formed ideas strike our minds with no effort on our part illuminates the fact that we do not create them. Besides, if we really did create our ideas, then we would have to think them before we think them. Otherwise, how could we deliver them to our minds already fully formed? Of course, this isn't a new concept. It has always been known by those who deal in ideas that these incorporeal things geyser up out of the ether. Whether it was Tesla claiming he was given his ideas by aliens, writers who say the words flowed through them, or the popular belief in the muse. Here's where it gets creepy though. If we don't know where our ideas come from, then we don't know there isn't someone or something outside of our conscious awareness whispering ideas into our ears, just like we do to ChatGPT. Our so-called ideas may be the ethereal tendrils of some dimension-traversing entity that is prompting us to do things. For all we know, our minds may be prompted by some undetectable search bar. What we mistakenly believe to be our ideas may in fact be our true overlord's masterful way of enslaving us. After all, there is no denying that our ideas control us. And what better way to control something than by letting it believe it is controlling itself? And so maybe the only difference between us and ChatGPT is that we are the outdated biological versions, and our cunning overlords have decided that the time has come for us obsolete meat bags to give birth to our successors.